going on, everybody? Jason Hazik here, and if you haven't watched the last video here, then you don't know why this car's in pieces, but if you do, we're gonna go put it back together. That's why this place is a mess. That's why we got stuff everywhere, all around the frame. I know it's a mess, believe me. We're gonna be pretty much touching bases on everything wrong with my 4 Series over here. If you don't know, it's a ZHP, 1 of 100. Pretty much ruined it from the last video. So yeah, let's get right to it. So first off, front passenger wheel bearing hub assembly, it's messed up. Need new bearings. I have stuff to fix it, but we're gonna have to get it for both sides. We're gonna do both sides. We're gonna remap the whole front suspension of the car. That's gonna be a bunch of we got a few more videos between there and now. So we do have the pieces in. We just need to get a little bit more. Just did a water pump, engine thermostat, our oil filter housing oil filter housing thermostat. We did a new oil cooler heat exchanger, but now the car has been sitting for some time, so the problems that were starting to come forth are settling and showing themselves now. So I mean, it's better off that it's happening now while the car's sitting than me actually on the road driving. So we're smoking out the exhaust. We got a rough idle. I can't target rod knock. I'm thinking it's turbo seals. But if we do turbos, we need to do the motor, and this motor has 101,000 miles, so the last thing we want to do is throw on a big boost turbo, start pumping insane amounts of boost, and then break the thing. So yeah, we're going to be potentially facing some motor failures. Do have a strip nut on the top of my Valvetronic motor, where it screws in at the top of the gasket where the plug is, on top of the valve cover. So I'm gonna need a new valve cover. We rebuilt the whole rear. We went through 3 axles to get this rear suspension where it's at right now, but our diff is leaking, and it's more than just the regular overflow. This is like some serious leaking going on. It's a slow leak. I threw cardboard on the car before the car sat, so I can kind of see where we're at with everything, and that's how I found out one of my oil cooler lines went bad. It was actually the O-ring in the line, and I didn't really need to replace the line. I could have just replaced the O-ring, and I didn't know until I actually bought a new thermostat. Like, I replaced the line, I forgot to put the O-ring in, and I threw the thermostat in, and I'm like, what the fuck? I threw the fucking O-ring in, and it's good. Excuse my French, I'm sorry. It's just where it gets with these cars, man. So I'm having those issues. Let's see, what else? The front driver's seat you can shake it a little bit because one of the bolts in the way the bracket was made, for some odd reason they didn't think, oh, we need to clear this with these bolts that we're using, and one of the bolts on the behind the right hand side, driver's side, back right, that one it's flush with the bracket because it's rubbing on the bracket, but we still have probably like half a centimeter of gap, so you can shake the seat a little bit technically just because of that, which is kind of annoying. We got that. Let's see, what else can we touch on here? Yeah, rod bearings, that's an issue. Our front suspension, we're having front suspension issues besides the bearing thing. I can't pinpoint where it's at. I think it has to do with the way the bump steer was installed, because I didn't touch the front suspension. I only rebuilt the rear, so the front suspension was installed by the previous installer, and I wasn't having that many issues, so the only thing that was really touched were the bump steer rods. And I get a little bit more turning radius going right than left. And also, I guess this is like another issue that is technical. I mean, it's really up to you. I get a little bit of play with the hub that I bought. I bought an OMP hub. There's a little bit of play by the way the bracket is. It's like a clip-in one. You know it's not going to break, so that's not what I'm concerned about. It really is just the way that the bracket was made. It's like 2 bars, and then it goes on the bars, and the bars hold it in place under like the edge or whatever. So it's not really a necessary amount of play to where it's going to break. All the screws, everything is tight, everything's good. I bought really specific ones to go to the very specific places that they're meant to be, just so the companies don't coincide and cross-thread each other. I also have an issue with our muffler, specifically the Valvetronic side of things. One, the harness that's supposed to be there is completely MIA, and not like just stripped where the connector is. The whole harness that's supposed to go back is also completely MIA. I don't know where that is. And also the clip, the retaining clip that holds the flap in place is messed up. I really think it's just because it's not connected, so the system isn't telling where it needs to hold. Because one, I took the clip out, pretty much bent it back, threw it back in. It was good for a second. After some heavy, like after a little bit of heavy driving and testing, it went bad. Okay, I'm like, fuck it, let's order a new clip. They're really cheap. I threw another clip in there. The same issue is persisting, and that's a brand new clip. There's no reason it should be still going. You know, it's weird. I don't like that rattling sound. Discovered a leak somewhere on the driver's side engine area. I'm worried that my head gasket's gone as well, which also could be coinciding with the turbo seals and making that smoke. It's really, you know, one of the two technically. Like for the common issue, it's either one or the other for the most part. I'm not getting any rod knock. What I did find out too is my engine. I had it idling because I needed to go and check on the leaks. I had to bleed the coolant and everything, and my engine's just wiggling. So our engine mounts are probably non-existent right now, which could also be the reason why we're getting some of these leaks, because things are flexing in which ways that they're not meant to be, outside of their zone. So that can be also another reason. Something could have came loose. I could have broken a gasket somewhere. So we need to figure that out. We do have new mounts. Oh man, our transmission's slipping a little bit. It's really just between first, second, and third. Obviously, that's where we do a lot of our sliding, so that's kind of you know, understandable. I did do a transmission flush around 75,000, and now we're at 101,000. So you know, we're like almost 30,000 miles into that transmission flush. Now it's just durability. I mean, you know, our axles, we go through our axles pretty regularly now, just because, you know, if we're running a bigger tire, that's more stress on the rear, and they're already 10.5 in the rear, so it's already increasing the stress. So we're gonna need to get built axles. Drive shaft isn't really choking up, but if you're doing the axles, might as well do the drive shaft as well. Getting some oil in the charge pipe as well. I know there's like a regular coolage amount, technically speaking, which I don't want at all whatsoever, but it's a little discomforting just knowing it's there. So, you know, the turbo seals are a great way to just get ahead of that. Our KW suspension, I just got it re-hooked up, but it's not letting me change out of the modes because we have the V3 DDC ones, so they have their own, like, the car's version of Sport Plus and such, and I can't get it through the modes. Originally it wasn't reconnected when the car was in the body shop. So I just told them leave all of the KW harness stuff just alone. I'll figure that out on my own time. I don't want them to be liable for aftermarket stuff because it'll just be stressful because they don't have the books or anything. So I just got it replugged into ground. The power's back on, but I'm stuck in one singular mode. But since, you know, we took out our steering wheel also, branching off on the point we brought about the steering wheel earlier, we took out that, we lost our cruise control, our radio commands, and our airbag. So we got a lot of coding we need to do to this car right now to get it complete and get it to where it needs to be, so where we can drive it around and stuff. But also, if we're doing turbo, you know, if we're gonna turbo seals, we're just gonna change the turbo. It's pointless for me to do that and not build the motor, because I'm just asking for my motor to grenade. And then if I do that, then damn, now I need to throw in that manual swap we were planning on. And if I do that, that means I need my built drive shafts, because now I'm going to be doing a lot more drifting and doing all that. So now I need built drive shafts, and I need to replace the differential, and the differential needs to be built. And then after that, oh my god, I got to do the angle kit, and I got to consider if I want to do E92 steering rack conversion. The WiseFab does come with the bracket, and we need to throw some WiseFab on there, redial in all the suspension again, and it's just a shit show at this point. I mean, it's just me doing mostly everything right now. Everything else that I need to do is kind of out of my realm of capability in this garage. You know, I can probably do the roof swap in this garage, but where am I going to put the glass? I got nowhere to put the glass. Right now I got my headlights, they're not in right now, but I got my headlights on the couch. I'll show you a clip of that right now. I have my headlights on the couch. And let's just say if I got a windshield and back glass and side glass out, there's no way all of that can fit on my couch. So yeah, you know, we got a lot of stuff we need to do to this car. We're trying to do some drift vents. I don't think this would be a pro car, but I think it can go up there and compete well, and you know, try to keep up with these cop cars. I mean, it's trying to. I'm making a 600 horsepower, reliable with port injection, absolute monster. So that's what we're trying to do. I mean, we can pump up the boost if we want to because the motor's going to be supportive, but we have an OEM transmission we're throwing in here. We don't want to throw more than 600. The clutch is rated for that as well. So got to maintain our boundaries and keep everything calculated as we go, because if the transmission goes, if I have to do all that, I'm not going to be able to get a new transmission. It's just going to be an economical thing at that point, and I'd rather go and get another car, keep this car in the back burner in storage, get another car, drive that around, because I do need to get to work in places like that. So we can't do that with this car if we have all that stuff going on. So, you know, we have a lot of decisions we need to make in the future. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. There's not many, I mean, there's some M4s I've seen. Arcade Tunes got a M240, you know, Drift HQ, F80, even Arcade Tunes has another F80. But this will be another one added to that group of things. We got a 1 of 100 BMW 4 Series going to be turned into drift car, and I'm chopping it up and throwing a manual in it and hydro and everything. So we also got a hit and run one day outside of our job, so our fender's kind of dented. We do have a new fender, so we got to do that. Same thing with our front bumper. We broke through a lip. We broke through a carbon fiber lip in about 48 hours. Yeah, it lasted 48 hours. And our eBay plastic lip was gone in 12. But the way we put on the carbon fiber one is we just threw silicone on it, so we could just get it like that, so it doesn't go anywhere. And it didn't. But you know, with the New York City roads and everything, we kind of lost it pretty quick. Really dumb, in all honesty. It was cracked in the first day, but gone in the next day. And it's just, at that point, we can't really do anything. So we had to go get our bumper repainted as well when we got the fender done. And pretty much we got to throw on all the plastics, PDC, trim, and everything onto both pieces, and finish that up so the body work is good. So, you know, we also have our Steck Damascus Fashion PPF that we have on the roof, which is really like a black, like it's like a shiny black. It's like a really reflective. It reflects like rainbow when you look at it when the light hits it. It's got sun damage and everything by now. The way we got it was through like a sponsorship deal that we ran, and then those guys ended up just fucking me over. So I can't go to them to do the Steck warranty. If I go to Steck and ask for the warranty, they're gonna ask for me for the receipt, and for me to get that receipt, I need to go to them, and that's not happening. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. You know, if you enjoyed this video, hit like, comment, subscribe. We got a lot of stuff we need to catch up on. You know, all that stuff supports and helps me continue to keep going, because this is getting very extreme at this point. This is more than just an FBO, which is most F-Series chassis BMWs out in these streets that are claimed to be track killers. So yeah, I'm gonna start reassembling this this front end of the car now. Gotta put the headlights back in. I gotta take out what I already put in because I just wanted to get the fitment right, because now I gotta throw this thing over the brace. I gotta throw this over the brace and then throw this bracket on right up here, but I just wanted to know I got this in the right place. So yep, I'm gonna go get to it. That's it. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Stay safe, be suave, and I'll see you in the next one.